Welcome back, everybody. It's Colin Maglev here with another episode of Train Mechanic Simulator 2017. And we've got some new business to do over here. That's our first job over at the electric locomotive engine shed. So we'll just go and accept that job. I don't remember there being an overhead cinematic for that. It appears the cause of the damage is the engine's mounting brackets. Replace and repair them. Done. On the surface, you'll probably notice that when it comes to these motorized trucks, there won't be that much that's different from the diesel-electric locomotives that we've seen previously. And from an engineering standpoint, that kind of makes sense. Just take that one off. The only issue here is that this giant electronic apparatus up here is just getting in the way of my vision of things like this over here. I thought this mounting bracket was supposed to be compromised. Or engine mounting, or whatever they called it. Was there another one that I needed to check out over here? Texture seems fine to me. So yes, welcome back. Has anything new recently happened? No. Not really. Well, actually that's not technically true. Let's see, yesterday was Thursday the 8th, and I went to go see my friend, and it was nice and pleasant, pretty simple, laid back. I think there was a bit of a communication issue though, because although I hadn't made it completely clear whether or not we were going to go to the Friendship Garden by Kelly Park, I found myself in a position where we were actually heading over there because my friend was giving me a ride back, and I didn't know what we were doing and why we were taking the route that we were. But he thought that in the phone calls and emails and instant messages that we've been sending each other, that we had basically... Oh. There's another engine mounting that needs to be fixed. I knew it! Oh! Oh, it's this. I need to go into the uninstall mode. I knew there was something I overlooked. So one of the ideas I floated around was going to the Friendship Garden, the Japanese Friendship Garden, just so we could talk there or something, spend some quality time, and it wasn't, we hadn't made it exactly clear whether we were actually going to go there as part of our time together that day, and as a result we were making our way over there and I didn't even notice until the last second. It didn't seem very clear to me. I was just throwing ideas out there. I didn't know that my friend would just take it and run. I thought we had just confirmed on going to Eastridge. And I think Thursday the 8th was also a very important day because it was the day of the Comey testimonies. There isn't really much there I can say that hasn't been said before. But I can already anticipate this is just going to keep going on. People are going to be looking for answers, and they will find them, because that's just what we do. Here's the cause of the defect is the defective transmission, which we all know is a euphemism for the drive gear in this game because it can't make up its mind. Let's slip this one out. I don't think much else happened yesterday, unless I forgot something. There might be the possibility that that was the day that I also got the bookshelves behind me renovated. We added 2 extra shelves by cutting some plywood. Finally. I had been waiting for the longest time to take care of that, and after cutting it up and getting it all sanded down, and then cleaning up the mess that ensued, I can confidently say that now I have 2 extra bookshelves, but I'm still not entirely sure how I'm going to organize my books back into them. Because I think I've substantially increased the amount of space I can have for Lego trains that I can store on that bookshelf. But I still feel like in the long term there's just never going to be enough space. Until I move out, and that's not going to happen anytime soon. And I think the other update I wanted to mention is that I think we hit a new low! Because I've been seeing the videos that I've just posted in the last few days. They didn't do as well as some of the previous series that I've done before. But then again, it's still better than some of the one-off stuff I've done before in the past, which I might as well just delete from my channel because nobody watched them. The non-train related stuff. Don't worry about the train stuff. That stuff is definitely staying. But the other stuff that just didn't really pan out, I guess I can just toss it. Save it in the hard drive over here, if I haven't done that already. Was there anything else oh. Wait, I forgot. I need to go all the way back over here. Okay, next job. Oh, we have to go to E1. Alright, let's hop to it. And we're gonna have to walk all the way around this just so we can go all the way back. Let's exit the garage. I didn't want to risk getting another content ID for this video either. This engine shed would also trigger the content ID system. So I took the courtesy of muting the sound, or music again, I should say, so that I can superimpose some other music. That's gonna be a little bit difficult though, because finding stuff that fits the original ambience of the area I'm working at, which has an Oriental theme, or Eastern Asian theme, excuse me. I wasn't sure I'd find music like that on YouTube's music library, but I'll give it a shot anyway. It does take some time out of editing, but I'll personally do whatever it takes just to make sure that I don't rock the boats for anyone. And speaking of rocking the boats, I noticed there was someone who had posted... They had posted over 40 of my videos on their channel. I'm not entirely sure why. It was the first time I've ever seen this happen to me before. And if trends like this keep repeating themselves, it will not be the last time either. But I just didn't think that I had a large enough viewership to actually warrant having somebody actually rip all my videos off and then paste them into their YouTube channel. I was so beside myself that I started reporting as many videos as I possibly could, because they were all infringing to some degree. Some of them were just copies of my videos that were... oh. I thought I flipped the switch, dang it. I guess we're gonna have to go the long way then. But anyway, someone did that. I was flustered about it. And then, for some reason, I was able to, what was I looking to say? After some efforts was put in, I managed to file the reports necessary for some DMCA takedowns. I thought I had done enough, but I wanted to do as many as I possibly could. In fact, I tried to, with one form, I tried to do as many videos as physically possible that I could do, and then I accidentally clicked the back button, and I lost all the information I was trying to submit on the form. So I lost all that information, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter because I had filed enough reports in the end to get the person who had violated the terms and conditions of YouTube and copyright laws to basically be terminated. So we don't have to worry about that anytime soon. Batteries in the Locomotive. Check that they are good and make necessary repairs. Okay. So it's gonna be a little bit weird when we look at these batteries. I'm pushing the installation button instead of the uninstall button. Gonna check this just to make sure it's not a worn out casing. So this is glitch here, right? Click over here and it brings me over here. So I'll have to press the F key to bring myself back over. These look fairly clean. Nothing wrong with them, so we should be able to head back over here to the electronics workbench to go fix everything up. What's the likelihood of success? Only 66%. Something tells me I thought I was gonna break it even more. Let's upgrade the table while we still can to avoid any unwanted risks. That should do it. So now, come on! There's still a 66% likelihood of succeeding. I thought upgrading my workbench was going to avoid breaking more stuff. Gotta go back to... What would it fall under? It's not a mechanical part. Would it be an engine part? Or is this going to lag until... Oh, okay. So I'll just get one of these. I don't know why it costs so much. But we'll order it on up. Sounds like a hard-boiled egg is ready whenever that little bell ring happens. So should be able to just stick them all back in. Except the bad one. We'll just recycle it. Get some good dosh. Some of that good money. Save some of those Benjamins. Well, actually, no, it'd probably be Alexander. Not Alexander Hamilton. Who's on the 10? I can't remember. I know Abe's on the 5, Washington's on the 1, and Benjamin's on the 100, and I think there's another president on the 50. So wait a minute, I thought I already finished this task. Oh, check if the fuses are burned. Oh, that was the other thing I was supposed to do. I'm gonna go sell off that... Where is it? Need to go sell this off. So that it's out of my inventory. And then we'll be able to look up here in the quote-unquote engine, as they call it, though I wouldn't really call it that. What would I call it? But we're taking a close look at these fuses. 3 of them don't look that great. This one, and the one fuse adjacent to it. So we're just going to uninstall those. And they're all color coordinated, so that should be pretty easy to find what I'm looking for. But repairing them is no guarantee. Experience has told me that. There's a 31% chance of fixing this. However, there's a 100% chance of fixing this. Not entirely sure where that comes from. I think the higher the ampage, the less likely I am to succeed. I'm probably gonna break this one. Yep, just as I suspected. No. Engine parts. They had to put these things all the way down at the bottom. So we'll order that up. And then we should be able to stick them right back in. And get this engine running like it's supposed to. Oh, that thing's worth $1,000. This one's worth 600, and this is also worth 600. Okay. We'll sign off on that order. Was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Any other updates? I wrote a list here. Where do you address that? And that. And that. Oh. Well, I didn't get to mention this, but there's a cactus that's growing in my backyard. It's actually one of 2 cacti back there. The first one isn't doing so well, but it's this other one that's been there for the longest time that's actually starting to bloom. We missed the first flower for this season, but we still have the opportunity to see the one adjacent to it fully blossom by tomorrow, because cacti have flowers that only bloom for one single day and then they die off. Lots of compressed air. Check the compressor is okay and make repairs. Okay. And they're these huge flowers. Not entirely sure what to make of them, because there are so many petals in each one of them. And one of the ways of distinguishing between the monocots and the eudicots is the number of petals you have in each flower. And there were so many that trying to go through them all wouldn't be very easy. At least counting them all, if you didn't take the whole thing apart, that is. But anyway, the objective here, contrary to what is in the description, is not to actually fix the compressor, it's actually to fix these reservoirs we've got, which need to be at the hydraulic workbench. That should do it. Not entirely sure why we have such large compressed air tank reservoirs, but I'll just take their word for it and trust them on this one, because I'm not the one who specializes in these things. So I cannot verify the legitimacy of this general overall design. Oh. Check to see... Wait, check it and, if necessary, make repairs. So we're gonna go back over here. It always makes me focus on the center. Compressor is A-okay, as far as I can tell. Can I sign off now? Yeah, I can sign off. But there's no check mark. Is there something else I'm missing? There must be something else, or there's some sort of a glitch. Because everything looks pretty normal here. There's no rusted out textures in the testing mode. Oh well, just gonna sign off then. Okay, maybe I'm gonna go check again. Because I know there's... Oh. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let's test this out. Oh, that's fine. But down here, this bogie down here, this truck's really worn out. How did I overlook this? This is definitely not good. Let's tear this thing out. Gotta install all the pieces. So yeah, I think tomorrow I'm just going to head out there, take a photo, and hopefully the second flower will be in full bloom by tomorrow. But flowers are very large. I think they're supposed to be built for organisms like bats. Maybe that's the other reason we weren't able to see them in full bloom. It would be a smart way to conserve water as a desert plant. Because the last I checked, there aren't hummingbirds in the desert. Unless there's some bizarro exception that I seem to have overlooked, which I highly doubt. Maybe I'll go check after the fact. Was there anything else I wanted to mention that was interesting? I think I got some inspiration today. It just kind of clicked because I haven't been working with any of the design software for Lego recently. The Lego Digital Designer's been pretty helpful to me for the last 10 years or so. Something strange happened though. I couldn't access the internet using the program, and I'm not entirely sure why that was the case. I thought the program was going to be updated or something, but maybe they stopped updating it, and this might be the last fleeting months before they take it off their website or something. I cannot say with absolute certainty. But I started tinkering around again because inspiration to make other model trains had struck me again. I saw this little steam-powered trolley. Not something you commonly associate with trains in any manner whatsoever, but I did find one. It was a representation of the HO scale in a narrow gauge, and it had been sitting in one of my playlists for the longest time, and its overall design inspired me to come up with something similar, except it would be suitable for the size of any Lego track. The conventional gauge for Lego's like 6 studs wide, if my memory's correct. I really shouldn't be doubting myself on this. I should know better. Oh, I had to take this out. Oh, dang it. But yeah, I started working on that. I just had some previous railcar design that was laying around. Why isn't this thing coming off? Oh, that's better. We have to take all these pieces out. We need to make absolutely sure of it. I haven't taken everything off of this side, have I? So yeah, it just looks like a tiny little engine's attached to a passenger car of sorts. In this case, it's a combine. I'll still have to fine-tune it so that it's fully compatible with the power function system. I do have some of the I have the necessary parts left over from when I got duplicates of the passenger set from Lego. What number was it? 60,051 was the number. So I've got an extra motor, power supply, and all that, and I might be able to actually make it in my own spare time. Which is a good thing, of course. Oh, I didn't take this off yet. So I managed to work on that quite a lot. I did more than I expected, to be quite honest, because I thought it was getting a little rusty. I feel like that sound effect really needs to be reserved for when you install things. Because objects don't make a clunking sound when you take them out. They make that sound when they get installed, right? Or at least that's the kind of reasoning that I'm kind of going behind. The other thing that was on my mind, if I hadn't mentioned it before, was trying to come up with thumbnails for these videos. I was looking on the Wikimedia Commons for stuff that was under the category of the Creative Commons 0 license. And under that license, basically you don't have to do anything. You don't need to give credit where credit is due unless required by law. And that just makes it a lot easier for me in the long term, because I can basically just use the source and not have to cite it every single time it's used. There are sound effects and other forms of media that are available under the Creative Commons 0 license, and I very much appreciate their general existence. But I've been having trouble trying to find a variety of diesel-electric locomotives for all the thumbnails for the previous 3 episodes, because it was kind of hard to come by. At least a little bit. Wait, I think we passed it. No, it's the bottom, of course. So we'll get that hammered out, and then we should be able to stick it back. One thing that would probably make this game much more engaging and interesting was if there was a welding feature, so that when you worked on certain objects, you used a torch cutter, or you used a piece of welding equipment to put something back together. It'd also be interesting if there were other ways of putting things together and taking them apart as well, other than just tightening or loosening bolts. Because that's pretty much all there is to it, for the most part. And it would be kind of fascinating to machine all the parts so that they actually functioned at the workbenches instead of having just a loading screen. I feel like I've already mentioned that before. But that would make this game... several times more awesome. And then people would actually have more positive reviews of this game, because I think it's sitting at a 65 on Steam for some reason. I can't imagine why. Aside from previous experiences, which were kind of self-inflicted. Because they were mistakes that the developers had not anticipated players would make. And technically they should have saw all of those things coming, but I don't know. I shouldn't be one to judge. Or maybe I should. By giving advice, we help make games better in the future. I'm not putting any of this together in any particular fashion. I'm just doing what tickles my fancy most, which is usually whatever is closest. So bolt this on. Oh! One thing I would also like to have as an improvement would be resolution sizes, because my native screen resolution is this really weird number. It's not a true 16:9 ratio, and in the options that are available, all of them are coinciding with that weird native resolution ratio. or native ratio, I should probably say. And I don't like that because I want to be able to do a resolution that has a true 16:9 ratio instead of what I have under our current configuration, because then I can have the entire game be displayed on the screen, because some of it's going to be cropped out if you haven't noticed that already, because in the previous episodes they weren't perfectly centered. I just needed to get the top of the video in just to make sure that everything was in working order, but a little bit is cut off the bottom. I guess you can say that the video is a little top heavy then, I guess. I need to work on my bad humor and bad puns. Because I know my friend who I talked to yesterday is a lot better at doing bad puns than I am. And I feel that I would not have successfully become a true cringe lord until I had successfully mastered the arts of telling bad jokes. Preferably the kinds of jokes that are so bad they're good, maybe. But then again, I have stopped trying to be funny on this channel ages ago. Or in life in general. Just focus on over here. Were there any other updates from this week? I wanted to make an appointment with someone, but I really couldn't because they were out of town. I needed to get something addressed. And on another note, I might need to see someone else for a completely different reason. Because I'm beginning to suspect that something is happening that I didn't encounter before. The nefarious tonsil stone. I hate those things. Because as far as I can tell, there really is no way of getting rid of those things. At least, none that I've been able to successfully use. So I'm going to need to see some professional... I'm gonna need to see a professional. See what they have to say about it. I felt really awkward. I looked online to see the causes, and then I saw every single one of them almost be practically the textbook definition of what I've been doing that contributes to them. But I think that's enough grossing you out, because I'm pretty sure that's not the most ideal choice of subject matters to talk about. I think I did get my friend, or at least tried to get my friend, into watching RWBY, because after seeing the third and fourth volume, I can't even begin to describe the enthusiasm I have for this series, even though I never really expected it to really amount to much as a motion capture animated production by Rooster Teeth. I think in the first volume I remember that some of the characters, they would basically glitch through the ground, so their walk cycles would awkwardly make their feet pass through the ground, and I just feel like that's the kind of thing I would expect from... that's the kind of thing I would expect as a amateur's mistake. And considering that they're a little bit higher end than that, I would have expected better, I guess. but maybe that's just my insight on it. I have certainly seen the animation actually get substantively better over the seasons, which is kind of interesting. I didn't know there were so many people who were actually contributing to it. I looked at the credits and it looked as long as It looked just as long as the credits you'd see in a full production by an actual studio, and I was quite surprised. I think there was one lead animator for the most recent season, or like 2 or 3, and then a bunch of other animators who... I think there were like 20 to 40 of them all working on this project, and it amazes me because you wouldn't expect that kind of quality and effort on YouTube videos and a YouTube series because, well, YouTube is not supposed to be the highest end form of video production. It's supposed to be YouTube, not television. And yet, slowly, day by day, I see more television-like qualities in my YouTube content, and it becomes less rough around the edges, more refined. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like there needs to be a threshold for when something looks too professional to be on YouTube. And I think with the rise of the late night talk shows showing up inside of the YouTube community as videos that get uploaded by the companies themselves, it makes it harder for the amateurs like us to compete. Or at least that's how I kind of see it. But anyway, I think we're out of time for this episode, so I will see you in the next one, and until then, take care, stay awesome, stay true to yourself, and remember to never give up. Bye, everyone.